My name is Mark Jackson. I'm the Commissioner of State Revenue for Queensland. I'm also the Registrar of the State Penalty Enforcement Registry. So the Commissioner collects all the revenue for Queensland that doesn't come from the Commonwealth, basically, and the Registrar for the Penalty Enforcement Registry collects fines and penalties where people have had those imposed by government instrumentalities or courts and have refused to pay or not paid, and so we enforce the payment. It doesn't make me the most popular person in town, but it's a job that you have to do if the justice system's going to work properly. Yeah, I grew up in the Burdekin. I even did a little bit of sugarcane cutting in my holidays. Terrible job cutting sugarcane by hand. So yeah, I come from there, and I was the first person in my family to go to uni. It was back in the 1970s originally, and I started off by doing science. I did maths and physics, having kind of been the top of my class at school in Brisbane virtually for maths and physics. And as I recall, it was Professor Richards who demonstrated to me that you don't just flow through from high school with those things, that it's a completely different world at the university level, and it didn't work out for me. And so I went away and worked for a while. Then I came back in 1981 to do commerce and law really, but JC didn't offer law at the time, so law was an adjunct to a commerce course. And so I did a bachelor's degree in the early 80s, and then I came back in the late 80s and early 90s and did a master's degree. So I've been at James Cook on and off for a long time. Without sounding self-serving, public service sort of drives me. I have worked privately. I've had my own business a couple of times, and I have worked as a consultant. I worked as a consultant for the International Monetary Fund for some years, but I really like the idea of contributing to the welfare and the good standard of living of others. And if you're an Australian citizen, you've won the lottery of life to start with. And so we've got every opportunity to make that into a wonderful experience and an ongoing experience for everyone. And I really like to do that. I often find myself saying what this will mean for the citizens of the community. And one of the things I was doing about 5 or 6 years ago was I'm kind of colloquially known as the father of e-invoicing in Canberra. I sort of instigated the national push to electronic invoicing. And that's a bit of a technical kind of thing, but what it actually means is an enormous reduction in the cost to business of doing business. So instead of writing letters, sending out invoices, posting them, opening them, reading them, the invoice is generated by your system as part of the normal business process. There's a digital computer-to-computer connection. Invoice is uploaded to your purchaser's computer. They send back a receipt, a payment. You send back a receipt. It all happens instantaneously at very low cost. So things like that where you can make a difference to the community, I find really motivate me and encourage me. This Alumni Award is more of a personal thing because it recognises a history of things that you have done. And yes, you may have had teams behind you doing those things, and sometimes some people don't, some people do. But the ongoing nature of it, the continuous, means there's some contribution you're making that's allowing those teams to deliver the outcomes. And I think it's that as I thought about it a bit more, it's more personal, so in some ways more meaningful to you as a person. And let's face it, it's a lot of people come to university each year. James Cook is a big institution and getting bigger. Of those thousands and thousands and thousands of alumni, to be picked out to be one of 6 or 12, as it may be in the year, is quite an honour and quite an achievement. And I'm really very pleased. The more I think about it, the more grateful I am for that opportunity.